Hi, welcome to my channel. This is Lady Empress. We are making a basic cookie dough. Please like and subscribe to find out what happened with the cookie accident. As you saw that I showed you where I placed the butter wrappers on top of some parchment paper to get ready to start baking. You see us creaming together the salted butter and shortening. And we're using a basic Hamilton Beach blender. You see me showing you the 5 cups of flour. I had to use 2 separate measuring devices because that only went to 4 cups. I also added some Celtic salt, sea salt, which was 1 teaspoon. And now you're going to see me adding 2 teaspoons of our basic Arm & Hammer baking powder. It's a little bit of struggle getting that second teaspoon out of the box, but there we go, it's there. Next we're going to be adding some cornstarch. I like to use cornstarch, just 1 teaspoon, because it helps to keep your cookies nice and soft. I actually added 2 teaspoons of the cornstarch to this batch because this is a double batch. Now you see me pouring in the sugar. That is 1 cup of granulated white sugar being added to the cream, shortening, and butter. And then I added the 2nd cup because if you're going to make 1 batch, you're only going to use 1 cup. 2 batches, you're going to use 2 cups. That is 1 cup of packed brown sugar that we're going to add there. We begin to mix that brown sugar in with the shortening and the butter, and you see us showing you the imitation and pure vanilla extract. We use pure vanilla extract. I already had one open that I used. Now we're going to begin cracking the eggs. I believe we use a set of 4 eggs, and I cracked them all because you are to add them to your cookie dough one by one. I make my cookies just like I make my cakes, so I believe the eggs should be mixed in really good when you're baking. That's the 2nd egg that we put in, and we put in the 3rd egg and continue mixing. And then we're going to come back with that 4th egg in there and make sure your cookie mix is really mixed up there, really good. Everything from the sides. So now I'm cracking another set of eggs because, as I said, this was a double batch. At this point is when I figured out that we made a mistake because we added too many eggs. Initially I was starting out with a double batch, but this ended up being 4 batches, so almost 400 cookies. So I had to measure out some more shortening and butter to add to that cream mixture, and I'm glad that I realized this. I showed you how much more I added, another 1/2 cup. I'm glad I realized this before adding my dry mixture to my wet, so it made it very easy for us to correct this mistake. I added a couple of more eggs to that batter that you had already seen. Now I'm going to add a little bit more of the brown sugar because a double batch would be 1 cup, and that's what you saw us already put in. However, to match for 4 batches, we had to do another cup of sugar, and that's what would give you the 4 batches of your basic cookie dough. During this time with us making these cookies, we actually made several different cookies. There's the butter that I had to add, that additional butter, and I just went on ahead and melted that and then poured it into the cream mixture that she was mixing. Because I realized that we had added too much of the sugar and had to correct our batch, I had to pull out the big boy, my KitchenAid, to begin to cream all of that stuff together before adding my dry ingredients. So you see me scraping the bowl there to get all those goodies in there, and then that's that melted butter that we spoke about that I added to increase that batch and make everything match. So now we're going to mix that up, and I realized that my cup blender on the KitchenAid wouldn't hold. It's not going to hold those 4 batches. So I had to divide my wet out, and you're going to see us divide that out and add the other 2 eggs for those 4 batches, because in one batch of cookies you only need 1 egg, and I was making a double batch, so we ended up with 8 eggs in there to complete this, and then I had to sift out more flour to match that, so we actually end up using about 10 cups of flour to complete these beautiful cookies that we set and made together. When you make a basic cookie dough, it's a good idea to sift your flour when you want your cookies to be like cake cookies, and that's what you saw me doing there. Now I'm removing that and brought it back with half of the batter before I began to add the wet batter, to the dry. I had to measure that out to separate the wet batter in half, so that I know that the 5 cups of flour that I'm adding is for that first double batch. We're mixing there before we get ready to pour in the dry mix. And I do that kind of sort of at like a cup at a time. And I like to use that blending mechanism you see. Sometimes I use the paddle that you see sitting over to the side when I'm adding my flour to whatever it is I'm baking. And you see me adding 1 cup at a time. So you won't end up with a flour face. That black measuring cup is a 1 cup measure. The rest of the batter is being dumped there into the dry mix is being dumped into the batter, so that we can continue to get that all mixed up for these wonderful cookies that I made for my family. It was a great time spending together making these cookies. We actually end up making several different types. I want to say we had some peanut butter, we had some basic chocolate chip, some chocolate chip and pecan. We had some double chocolate that we made. I'm planning on doing another video where I can show you how to make several different types of cookies at one time. Even though you make a large batter mix of cookie mix, they don't have to just be all chocolate chip. You can add those later, and we'll do another video to show you how you can make several different types with a basic cookie dough. There you see me measuring out the second part of the dry mix to be able to add that to the cookies. Now this one is going to show you how we added semi-sweet chocolate chips after we had our batters all separated. I like to get all the goodness off of the paddle, as you can see. I don't like to waste anything. Thank you for watching Lady Empress with this cookie accident. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!